Minecraft 1.14 is officially in pre-release stage, meaning most of the features that will be in the game have already arrived. But that doesn't mean there's no room for more features and improvements. Last week, I asked my community what structures they would like to see in Minecraft. And so, my name is SystemZ, and here are 5 generated structures that should be in Minecraft. If you enjoyed the video and want to support my channel and help me make videos in the future, consider becoming a member, where you'll be invited to my Minecraft and Discord servers, as well as have a chance to help me with new videos through exclusive community posts. Click the join button below for more information, and also thank you to those of you who have become a member since my last video. Alright everybody, hello and welcome to 5 generated structures that should be in Minecraft. For structure number 1, we have abandoned villages, which is something I firmly believe should be in the game, but also got a lot of suggestions for as well. Now these would be villages that would spawn in probably forest biomes that are very overgrown. As you can see, we've got a lot of grass, a lot of shrubbery, and just a lot of mossy material all over the place, really setting the age of this particular structure. Now, I think the reason it would be great is because, honestly, it makes sense. We've got the Pillager, and they do ruin villages, so why not add a sense of history to already ruined villages? Now, as far as loot goes, you can see we've got different generated structures here. We've got a church with a graveyard, a horse stable, a blacksmith, and probably just some basic villager houses. As far as the loot goes, I like to imagine that it would be very simple, nothing crazy, nothing too game-breaking. For example, just a saddle here, since this is a horse stable, maybe some iron there, and rotten flesh or something of the sorts for this particular building. Maybe something that the cleric would sell as a villager. Now, this one actually does stand out a little bit more, because as an abandoned village, I feel like it would be inhabited by something. Probably either pillagers or zombies. So imagine the graveyard here actually having a zombie spawner underneath, so that way during the nighttime you're having to battle off zombies as you come into this area. And maybe you don't even really know where it's coming from, because it's like buried treasure buried beneath the graveyard. I think this would be very cool, and obviously a challenge that's not really too difficult, but you also don't get much loot for it. It just rewards exploration and would be very cool for the atmosphere of the game. So let me know what you think down in the comments below, and whether or not you'd like to see abandoned villages in the game. I got a lot of suggestions for this structure. A lot of people in the community have spoken. We would like to see more ruins in Minecraft, and this is a topic I think should be visited by Minecraft 1.15. I do plan on doing videos in the future about this, so make sure to subscribe if you don't want to miss them. Now, this is a very large build, so I say we just go ahead and jump right in. We need a very spooky, ominous, very difficult, challenging, how many words can I use? Ruin. Now, this is very cool. We've immediately got 4 different rooms to explore here. Now, right off the bat, let's go ahead and check out door number 1, which is a mob dungeon. It's a little dark. Let's light it up with a lantern. Love the lantern blocks. So good. This is a mob dungeon that I think is a better example of what should be a mob dungeon. Currently, they're not visually pleasing, whereas this is pretty stunning. I would love to see something like this naturally generate in the game, but that's besides the point. I think obviously a stronghold would need a dungeon, and they would probably be fitting to something we'll talk about here in a little bit with the tomb room, but they would be skeletons, and that would kind of serve a purpose as the first challenge that you face, because obviously dropping down you would be facing this direction, and they would start spawning and start shooting at you with their bows, so it's a very difficult, unexpected challenge. The next room is loot. So this is the first form of loot and kind of reward for coming down into a stronghold like this. We've got a master sword, or sorry, a diamond sword, at the end of a parkour challenge. Now, I think parkour is a huge part of Minecraft. It's a huge part of the minigame community, and I think it should fit naturally into the game and generate. I think it would be great for bringing all aspects of the game into it, so let me know what you think of that in the comments down below. But at the end of the parkour, you would come across a randomly enchanted sword in a stone, which you could walk up to, right-click to obtain, and then wield. That would be a very, very cool piece of loot to immediately be rewarded with, of course, if you make it through the parkour challenge. But let's go ahead and move on to the next room, which is right across from the well here. Now, obviously, we need an exit to this stronghold, and it shouldn't just be a normal staircase or a ladder. So, what I've done is I've placed it at the end of a maze. Nothing's better than a maze in Minecraft, and we need them in the game. It would be so cool to have something similar to a labyrinth to have to explore through. Plus, the amount of loot would be very, very cool. Now, what I've done here is put a lot of chests throughout this maze, so this would probably be where most of the loot, at least random loot, would generate. Now, I don't really know what would spawn in them, but they'd be very similar to dungeon loot, I would imagine. But I do know the way through this, so let me go ahead and get through it. It's a little bit long, but as you can see, it's a little challenging. If I didn't know the way, I would probably be in here for a little bit. Now, it's a very natural exit, which I think I really enjoy the most about this build. Right here in this natural cave, I've put the exit, and then we can simply crawl all the way up here, climb up the vines, and we are just down the hill from the stronghold itself, which is a very good natural exit and takes advantage of the area around us. Now, the last room, probably the most important room, leaves us to answer one thing. Do we need a new mini-boss in Minecraft? Yes, we do, 100%. There needs to be some good loot down here, but there has to be a risk. There has to be a reason that loot is so good. And I like to imagine that once you walk into this room, something falls down behind you, trapping you in, and then a iron golem-sized skeleton wielding a sword spawns out of the tomb and starts attacking you. Probably as difficult as the Wither, or a little bit less. It would probably be fought before the Wither after all. That would be very cool. And once you've defeated that mini-boss, you would have access to the loot room, where you'll find a chest of all of your desirables. We've got a totem of undying, some diamonds, gold, enchanted books, and all of the sorts. That is basically it for this idea of a structure. Let me know what you think in the comments down below. I 100% stand by more ruins, and I think this would be a fantastic way to do it. Next up, we have a revisitation of the Pillager, which was added in Minecraft 1.14. I got a lot of suggestions for abandoned castles or pillager outpost in the game. Now, fortunately, we've already got a pillager outpost, but it would also be cool to come across an abandoned castle inhabited by pillagers wielding those scary crossbows, and of course the Ravengers kind of all hidden in view as well. This would be very cool and very challenging. Imagine approaching something like this, being shot at, hit with axes, and attacked by these beasts. Now, this is a very cool castle. I'm pretty proud of it. I think it fits the generation style as well. Very cool. And as far as the loot goes, it's very subpar. It's nothing amazing, but definitely still rewarding nonetheless. And just kind of taking an exploration around here, you can see we've got a lot of different areas to explore, which I think definitely adds a lot to the game. Naturally, Minecraft is a game all about exploration, so we definitely need that. Now, I love this build. It's really fun to just explore. There's so many different avenues of just kind of hidden rooms and different, I guess, posts for the actual pillagers. But as far as the loot goes, the real reason you would want to travel to a place like this is obviously for the loot. The emeralds mainly, and then even inhabiting something like this as your base once you've defeated it. I think that would be very cool. And I think this would be where all the good loot is stored, like the diamonds, bottles of enchanting, and all of the sorts, as you can see here at the very top, meaning you have to go through all of these guys to even get to this point. Now, in the backyard, this would be very similar to a work type area or recreational use, or even just practice where they're, practicing some archery. We've got some smelting going on with the campfire. I love it. It's so atmospheric. So good. And then, of course, a bell tower to notify whenever a player comes near. Now, this is obviously a very large structure that would generate, but I think it would fit very naturally into the game and be good for some loot. Honestly, if I was in early game Minecraft and I built up some iron armor and got into this point where I could, actually raid this, it would be very rewarding and very thrilling. And I think that's something that new players should definitely experience. So that is basically what I've got for abandoned castles or pillager castles. Let me know what you think in the comments down below. This is definitely one of my favorites. Structure number 4 is one that I originally thought was a great idea, but wasn't going to put it in the video until I got another comment suggesting something very similar. We do not currently have a way for new players to discover the Nether. There's nothing in-game that teaches them how to build a portal. And we're kind of left with having to go to Wikipedia or YouTube to figure that out. And while that's pretty common, obviously most people are going to know how to make a Nether portal, I think it would still be good for there to be a way to discover that in game, especially for new players. This would be a very cool structure right at the top of a savanna mountain, which, by the way, this was naturally generated almost. I've only done a little bit of terraforming, and this looks incredible. Can I just say I love it so much? Good job, generation. We've got a nether altar that has a very, very nether theme design to it, and hopefully the player would pick up on a theme with the obsidian, with the pattern, and perhaps repair this or build something similar for their own usage. And there would be a couple of other hints with this particular build. One, of course, the materials, definitely from another world. It definitely looks like a portal to another dimension. Also, some obsidian to really drive in the point that you're gonna need obsidian. And of course, along with other nether type reward and loot, you would also get a flint and steel. Really just driving home that those two items are what you're gonna need to progress further in the game. I also like the idea that random mobs from the nether do spawn. Only once though, not a spawner, because then it would be exploited. I think this could be a great thing to discover and very, very cool. Obviously, a lot of people would like to probably make this into their own base or incorporate it in some way, but I think this could be a very, very cool build to find. Similar to ruins, I think it just adds a lot to the general world of Minecraft and really promotes exploration. So let me know what you think of nether altars in the comments down below. There's nothing quite as special as chilling out by the fire, watching the sunset with a random villager. Last but certainly not least, here we are, structure number 5. This is a structure that I've been wanting in the game for quite some time. Villages currently have one level, a village. Nothing more, nothing less. There's no sense of progression with villages. You can't really find them in any early or late stages. But with the abandoned villages and then villages, I think it would also be cool to have something in reverse. In the early stages of a village, a campground filled with tents, campfires, and villagers everywhere. This would be a very, very cool build to discover, especially in early game Minecraft. It's something I originally thought they were going to do when they mentioned the campfire. Now, I like to believe they would spawn in really any biome that a village could, but probably would look something a lot like this. Now, in terms of the interior, they're very simple. After all, it is a general campground. We've got suspicious stew, some iron nuggets, sweet berries, and some emeralds, of course, and then a cauldron here and a campfire. I also like the idea that a campfire, if you're standing near it, would add a sense of regeneration, while being very slow could still definitely reward the player in early game. Because right now, campfires are pretty much only used for building. Let's be honest, builders, that's all we use them for. But anyways, as we explore further, you can see we've got random little villagers here, just little campers standing around, and then we've got another set of 3 here. Now, this is very adorable. We've also got foxes inhabiting the place. Now, aside from foxes, recently I talked about adding dogs into Minecraft. And I know what you're thinking, Z, we already have wolves. We don't need dogs. We already had ocelots, and now we have cats. That's all I have to say on that. I think it would be cool to find different dogs in the campgrounds, and then you can, of course, claim them to get a different texture, much like the cats. Now, also, this is a foxhole, and I think this should naturally generate in the game anyways, and maybe it could even feature some sort of loot. Nothing crazy, but I think that could still be very cool. And I just wanted to fit that in between this little overpass. I thought that would be very, very cool. Now, there's nothing crazy here. This is a very simple thing to generate. We've already even got tents in the game with the Pillager outpost. I think it just needs to be fixed up just a little bit and dressed up with an area like this. And a view like that, mountains in the background and a sunset. A great way to end a video. But that is basically it for my 5 structures that should be in Minecraft. That's going to be it for today's video. If you did enjoy, make sure to leave a thumbs up and consider subscribing and clicking the bell to be alerted whenever I next upload a video or live stream. Also, did you know that I have a Minecraft server and a Discord? Click the join button for more information. That's going to be it for today. My name has been System Z. You guys have been awesome, and I'll see you in the next one. Thanks for watching.